What's up, good people? So I was asked a question and I wanted to come on here and answer it because I thought it was an amazing question. And I know a lot of times you may wonder and try to figure things out, but you just don't know exactly what to do or how to handle a situation. And the question was, what do you do when it is allowed? What do you do when it's allowed? And this question came from one of my director of nurses and professionals, right? So she was speaking about it in your professional realm and in your professional life at work. But I can also make it relate to personal life as well, right? So the question is, what do you do when it's allowed? When you know that certain standards are not being met, when you know that a person is not doing a certain thing and it's really causing issues in the team, but because the team cares enough about the outcome, they end up overcompensating for this other person's lack. But this person that's being lacked, baby, they continue on to do it. They are showing up every day just to do halfway of nothing, and they leaving early because they are exhausted from their efforts, okay? But at the same time, the person that they report to or the person that's supposed to be holding them accountable is not. So like, what do you do when this is allowed? What do you do when you're having to do your job plus someone else's, because if not, it won't get done? And at the same time, when you want to throw your hands up and say, you know what, I'm not doing it. It is what it is. You need to do something with that person. This individual need to be dealt with, and you need to figure it out because it's not on me, right? I know that's the way you feel down in your shana, but I want to give you a different perspective. When something is being allowed that should not be, I'm not going to tell you to stop doing what you're doing, because you are doing it for the greater good and you are doing it for a positive outcome. So kudos to you. Number one, never stop being amazing because someone around you lacks integrity. Okay. Number two, if it's something that you can do that's not going to consume your time, do it, because it will show up in the end. I promise you it will. Number three, the person that is allowing this behavior to go on, 9 times out of 10, when that ball finally drops, it's going to bounce on them and off of them onto that other person who's being lacked as well. So you don't have to worry about the consequences of the person who's lacking the integrity and the person who's lacking the accountability to hold them accountable. But what I will say is this. You can always, because this is something that we don't do, because we don't like dealing with the people who don't show up because they get on our nerves and aggravate, and then you go in there trying to tell them to do something, but you looking like this. You got that for me? You finished with your report because I need to do this. We doing all of that, right? So because we're doing those things, that person automatically, now they got an attitude because, they were so busy. There's nothing like a person that get real tired that don't work. I bind the sleepy demon right now. I'm like, you should not be taking naps. What in the world do you need intermittent rest from? What you got going on? I mean, you shouldn't even be hungry. You ought to just eat snacks throughout the day. You don't need a meal. Why are you hungry? But let's stay focused. So the thing about it is this. Start going to that person whenever it's something that needs to be done and they have to initiate it. Okay, what time do we have for such and such to be done? When do we have this? We need this right here. So what time are we doing it? Okay, this has to be done on Thursday. When are we doing it on Thursday? Because I need to set my calendar and get my stuff situated. So make the person responsible. Believe it or not, a lot of times that person that's being lack, that person who is not practicing integrity, when you hold their feet to the fire, they'll do it. The sad part is you have to always do that. And I know, who got time for that? You would rather just do it yourself. Nah. Take that energy and you participate in the accountability process. We need to have this. When we going to have it? Then here go the sweet part. If they don't answer, respond, or do whatever, email is your friend. not in all caps, and do not highlight the words and don't put them in red. You ain't the Lord. You understand? But anyway, go to that supervisor, say, hey, we got this right here coming up. It has to be done by then. I'm getting my things situated, but this individual needs to have this right here done. Can you make sure that they have it done for us so the team will be straight? Make each person be accountable for their role. So what do when it is allowed? You start operating in your position in the way that you know that you can and the way that you should. And you go to the person that is allowing it and you hold their feet to the fire in a professional manner. But you also go to that other person first now. Go to that person first and you make sure that you're assisting them in being accountable. Of course, it don't always feel good. You're not going to always want to do it. But at the end of the day, you don't always want to do their work either. So it's either or. Because we all of us, we have the gift of goodbye. So if it gets to the point where you really like, I just cannot, I can't. Or either, you might be one of my other babies be like, I cannot. Oh my God. Even if that's you, baby, if that's the case, then you need to be finding your transition. Because you having a redundant conversation is pointless. What are you going to do to change it? What efforts are you going to put in place to make things different? How are you going to show up in your professional self and in your professional way to be able to make a change in this thing? So what do you do when it is being allowed? You allow yourself to do all that you can and then also be a part of the accountability process. You see how I said that right? The accountability process. You be a part of that. You do what you're accountable for. You request whatever is needed from the other person that need to be held accountable, and the person who is allowing it, you go and you have a conversation with them about holding the other person to the fire so they can get done what needs to be done. Now, if they want to put themselves out there and they want to do the work for that person, that's on them, baby. What you want is for this process to go along without you having to be the one to drag each piece of it. That's what you want to do, okay? Then, in your personal life, what are you going to do when it's being allowed? Baby, this is even sweeter because at the end of the day, when it's your personal life, you have the responsibility of you. Is that not a beautiful thing? When it's being allowed by who? When it's being allowed by somebody that you're in a friendship with, relationship with, businessship with, situationship with, whatever it is, some of these ships need to sail. And then you have to ask yourself, why am I allowing this? So if it's something that you are allowing for whatever reason, you have to go back to the core of that thing, address the core, and then move forward from there. My grandma used to say all the time, baby, when the snake was out there, get somebody out there to kill that snake. You kill the head, the butt won't move. And she used to always tell us that even growing up. I'm telling you right now, you kill the head, the butt won't move. I was like, that's murder. What are you talking about, Granny? She was like, no. If you kill the head, meaning if you kill the idea, if you kill the action, if you kill that thing that's going on, that they're doing or that you are experiencing or whatever, if you stop that from happening, won't nothing else happen behind it. It won't affect the body. But because we are allowing so much to go on, because we are allowing it to go down, because we are participating in the foolishness, that's why we have the results that we have. So what are you going to do when it's being allowed? You're going to either allow yourself to continue to go through it, or you're going to allow yourself to remove yourself from it. You give people the gift of goodbye. It's really that simple, sweetie. And especially when it's at your expense. You're not tired of financing foolishness? You're not tired of your body going through changes because you're stressed out and aggravated? I used to hear the elders say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. If you need rest for your weary soul, that used to be a song though. They say, come on the Lord's side, but that's not what we're talking about on this here day. What we're talking about is when it is being allowed, you have to ask yourself, how am I contributing to this? And what can I do to either remove myself from it or improve the situation? That's what you do when it is being allowed. Thank you guys for hopping on. Thank you for being engaged. Thank you for loving me like you do, because I love you right back. And hey, this was a segment of Ask Nikita B. You asked, I answered. Till the next time, baby. Hope Dope on Demand.